Imagine yourself in a small garage in California. The smell of dust, wood, and freshly soldered metal fills the air. Wires, circuit boards, and a few old monitors are scattered on the table, and two guys sit next to each other, looking at each other with eyes that glow with dreams. They are Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. All around are tool boxes, old newspapers, and a small cardboard sign that says Apple Computer Company. This is not a business center. This is the heart of a dream, still tiny, but already burning with a bright fire. They work day and night. They solder, test, laugh, and argue at the same time. They do something the world has never seen before. The first Apple I computer is born in their hands. It is not perfect. It can only be compared to beautiful chaos. Wires stick out, boards rustle, and a small screen glows with green font. But for these two guys, it is a window into the future. And here the first tests begin. Friends and relatives doubt. Why do you need this? Who will buy your boxes with boards? The sounds of skepticism are loud in the garage, but something inside the guys says, we can change the world. They sell the first few cars. Not many, but each sales receipt smells of victory and a great chance. This is a time when an idea becomes bigger than fear. They see that the world is not waiting, but if they can see their dream through to completion, everything will change. And this little garage, where old boards creak underfoot, will become a legend. Every sound of soldering, every creak of metal, every breath of air that smells of dust and enthusiasm becomes part of a story that the world will remember. The first success is still small, but it gives rise to confidence. They understood the main thing. Great things start small, and the real magic is in the courage to dream and act despite all doubts. And as you listen to this story, imagine two guys in a small garage conquering the world, one step at a time, with each rustle of the circuit board coming to life under their hands. This moment is the birth of not just a computer, but a legend that will change everything. After the first sales, reality sets in. The garage is no longer filled with the smell of soldering and dreams. The noise of the market looms on the horizon. Competitors are making themselves heard loudly, and investors are asking tough questions. Can you handle it? Is the question that comes to mind in every conversation. Sometimes Steve Jobs sits in silence, looking at his work, and feels the cold breath of doubt. Every board, every wire that once pulsated with the energy of a dream now seems fragile, like a cardboard crumb under the great pressure of the world. The first demonstrations of the new computer do not go smoothly. The equipment fails at the most inopportune moment. Potential buyers throw up their hands. Criticism flies like fine rain on the garage window, and its echo is heard in the hearts of the guys. We won't be able to do it, they sometimes think, but the inner fire has not yet gone out. This is a time of testing character. Steve Wozniak sits at his desk for hours, reworking boards, checking every contact. Steve Jobs looks for a way to make the product appealing to a world that is not ready to believe in garage magic. And here is born the first great lesson of Apple. Quality and attention to detail are more important than quick profits. In this struggle, the idea of design is born. The first Apple II becomes not just a computer, but a product that you want to hold in your hands, that has a soul, that looks like it was created for the future. Every button, every color, every sound of turning on is a part of the story that sets Apple apart from all others. And although the crisis is scary, it becomes a catalyst for change. Fear and doubt do not destroy them, they harden them. Every mistake, every failed presentation becomes a lesson that leads to a big breakthrough. And when they look at the first stable sale, the smiles of winners shine on their faces, although there is still a lot of struggle ahead. This period taught them the main thing. Every crisis is a chance to change the rules of the game, a chance to think in a new way, a chance to take the next step more boldly. And it is this stubbornness, this small but constant spark, that will later light up the whole world. After a storm of doubts and first failures, There comes a moment when work and self-belief begin to bear fruit. Apple is on the verge of a big step, but the world does not yet know that this small garage startup will soon change the idea of computers forever. In the office, Steve Jobs holds in his hands the first official contract with investors. He feels the cold metal of the pen under his fingers, hears the rustle of paper, the smell of fresh printing, and at that moment he understands. This is the first step into the big world. Apple's IPO becomes a real event. The sound of stock exchange bells, the buzz of brokers discussing the new company, the anxious glances of analysts. All this creates a feeling that the company's life will never be the same again. Young Steve and Steve, who a year ago were soldering boards in a garage, now stand among adult businessmen, hear complex terms and market laws, but enthusiasm beats in their hearts. They realize that success is not only about money, but also about the opportunity to change the world, and that now their idea has a chance to become a legend. The Apple II hits the market and immediately causes a sensation. Imagine stores where computers stand on the shelves, and buyers see for the first time something that not only works, but also fascinates. Bright cases, comfortable keyboards, the sound of turning on. All this makes the Apple II special. People enthusiastically discuss the novelty, dust off the boxes to turn on their computers for the first time. And the Apple team sits in the office and watches all this, feeling excitement mixed with pride and fear at the same time. Will we withstand such growth? This is also the time of the first serious internal conflicts. The team grows, and with it the pressure. Discussions about design, functionality, and strategy last for hours. Steve Jobs, who has always been a fire and dictator of ideas, is faced with partners who want to play by the rules of traditional business. Here another lesson is born. You need to be able to balance between idea and reality, without betraying the essence of the product. During this period, Apple understands that a small garage startup is turning into a serious company, and with that comes a huge responsibility. Every board, every computer sold is a step into a new world, a world that will no longer wait for them to make mistakes. They have learned to work under pressure, solve problems quickly, and see opportunities where others see only obstacles. And another important detail of this time is the first touch to the brand culture. Apple begins to not just sell computers, but to offer an experience. Every product, every presentation becomes a small performance. The audience feels that they are not standing in front of machines, but in front of a part of the future that they themselves create. And it is here that the spirit of Apple is born, which makes it unique. Innovation, beauty, emotional connection with people. This period is a victory after the dark time of the crisis. It taught Jobs' team that the power of dreams and stubbornness can overcome any obstacles, that even a small startup can become a global player if you are not afraid to take risks. Each success fuels the next, and even when there is still a fall ahead, the world has already begun to notice the magic created in a small garage in California. Suddenly, the world that had so quickly become theirs begins to change. Steve Jobs leaves Apple. It seems that the garage dream that was once born among dust and wires is now losing its most ardent light. The offices are quiet, but not calm. Computers are released, but the world no longer looks at them with such admiration. Sales fall, new products fail, and critics are not stingy. The sounds of the keys that once created magic now sound like an empty echo. Every day is a test for the team. They see their dreams crumble into small pieces and ask themselves, what are we doing wrong? Can we recover? Every failed presentation, every incomprehensible product that doesn't find a buyer becomes a reminder that even great ideas can fail. But in this darkness, a new strength is born. The team begins to understand that crises are not the end, but an opportunity. They reconsider their approach to design, to features, to users. Apple becomes more careful, more strategic, learning to plan every step. Every failure is a lesson. Every mistake is an opportunity to make the product truly outstanding. At this time, new heroes appear on the scene. Young talents, engineers and designers who bring fresh ideas, new energy, and a willingness to change the rules of the game. In the offices, you can hear the rumble of new projects, echoes between departments, laughter and quarrels, mixing into a real storm of creativity. Here a new Apple is born, learning to stand on its own 2 feet without Jobs, but preparing for the moment when he returns. And then comes the moment when everyone on the team feels big changes require a bold step. Steve Jobs understands that he remained not just a leader, but a symbol of what Apple can be incredible. His departure becomes a catalyst for change. The company learns to survive, grow, think in new ways. In the silence of the offices, a strategy is born. More attention to users, simpler design, bolder thinking. This period taught everyone the main thing. A crisis is not the end, but preparation for a new beginning. The absence of a leader opens up new opportunities, product failures harden the team, and internal disputes help find the path to true innovation. Apple is going through dark times, but they are hardening it, creating the foundation for future triumph. And even in the darkness, when it seems that the garage dream is already in the past, a feeling arises. Great things are still ahead. Every mistake, every failure, every missed opportunity is just part of the path that leads to the moment when Apple will rise again. This is where the true spirit of the company is laid. The courage to move forward despite defeats, faith in people and in the idea, the willingness to turn crisis into fuel for change. The world was on pause, and inside Apple a new era was being born. Steve Jobs is back. His arrival is like a storm breaking through a calm ocean. Every step he takes in the offices feels like an explosion of energy. His voice is full of determination, his eyes are ablaze with ideas, and past doubts are dispelled. He arrives not just as a leader, but as a magnet for talent, attracting the boldest ideas and the most dedicated people. The first thing he does is change Apple from the inside. The company is being rebuilt. The products are becoming simple, beautiful, and intuitive. The first iMac is not just a computer. It is a real show, a transparent case, bright colors, a memorable power-on sound. For the first time in their lives, users felt that technology could be emotional. Each presentation turned into a small performance. The sound of footsteps on the stage, the light of spotlights, the excitement of the audience. All this mixed into a feeling of wonder. The iPod appears, and the world stops again. Music becomes portable. It follows a step-by-step. Every detail of the design, every function is a sign of attention to the user. Here another lesson from Apple appears. Every detail matters, because a person notices even the invisible at first glance. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of pressure. The company is struggling with competition, finances, and investor fears. The seemingly easy presentations are born after hours of hard work, arguments, and yelling, as Steve rejects anything that's not perfect. Every product is a risk, an investment in a dream that could either soar or fall apart. And that's what makes Apple's success so dramatic and exciting. Then comes the iPhone. It's not just a phone, it's a revolution. The smartphone market, which was previously predictable and monotonous, is now exploding. Every touch on the screen is magic. Every function is a step into a new era of communications. People in stores stand in lines, feeling excitement, as if before a big holiday. And the Apple team realizes, we are creating history, and every day we write it with our own hands. Apple's global breakthrough is not just about technology. It's a story about believing in your ideas, about daring to take risks, and about how even after failures you can come back stronger. It's a lesson that resonates with everyone. When you're true to your dream and ready to fight for it every day, nothing is impossible. And even today, when we look at Apple as a giant, we cannot forget the small garage, the first remote control, the first wires, the first sleepless nights. Every success was built on mistakes, on doubts, on crises that turned into fuel for a new breakthrough. And this story shows us, true magic is born when courage meets difficulty, and when faith in one's dream is stronger than any fears. The world already knows Apple as a symbol of innovation, but with fame comes pressure that can break any company. Every launch of an iPhone, iPad, or MacBook becomes an event watched by the entire world. Critics, competitors, investors, everyone is waiting for the company to make a mistake. Sometimes it seems that these eyes can even see the thoughts of the team, and any unsuccessful move is instantly blown up into headlines. Inside Apple's offices, there's a real storm. Presentations are born after sleepless nights. Engineers test thousands of scenarios. Marketers compete for every word in the product description. Steve Jobs is gone, but his spirit is felt in every decision. Every employee knows, you have to be not just the best, but unique, because the world doesn't wait for repetitions. At this time, the company faces powerful competitors. The smartphone market is exploding, technology is changing every day, and Apple must adapt quickly. Here a new lesson emerges. Adaptation and courage in making decisions are more important than fear of change. Every new feature, every iOS update is a small revolution, and the team feels the pressure of a global audience that wants everything new and at once. On the other hand, the company begins to invest resources in new technologies, smartwatches, service products, environmental initiatives. Each innovation is a risk and at the same time a chance to conquer another market segment. Here another Apple principle is born. Long-term vision is more important than short-term benefits. The team learns to balance the pressure of the moment and the strategy of the future. Sometimes competitors attack from all sides, investors doubt, the media criticize, and consumers expect a miracle. At such moments, it seems that Apple is on the verge of collapse again. But the team knows that every crisis is a new opportunity. They learn to use stress as fuel for creativity. Here another lesson is born. Every challenge can be turned into an opportunity if you are not afraid to act. And even under immense pressure, Apple products continue to captivate the world. Every iPhone, every MacBook, every Apple Watch is more than just a device. It is a symbol of courage, innovation, and belief in one's own idea. In offices, you can hear the sound of keys, the rustle of wires, but this is no longer a small garage. This is a huge dream machine that affects millions of lives every day. This period taught the team the main thing. Strong ideas and belief in the product can withstand any pressure if there is a willingness to act and take risks, if there is the ability to learn from mistakes, if there is the courage to move forward, even when the world looks at you critically. And so, standing on the threshold of a new decade, Apple looks to the future with the feeling that this is just the beginning of an even greater journey. Enormous challenges temper the team and make each subsequent success even more significant. Every crisis, every failure, every fear turns into fuel for a new breakthrough.